Well, I mean, so I saw this. I mean, I think, you know, I'm pure on a pure prurient level. After kids, I was like, okay, that was something. Let's see what else he does.
Right.
And so I went out of my way to go and try to track down a lot of this guy's movies. I think I've seen most, if not all of them.
Hmm.
Same.
Um, it's funny. This guy has a technique that I usually like. I mean, it's a thing that you guys dunk on me because I like it about Sofia Coppola, where like a lot of the time it feels like he's just in the back of the room with the camera, like in the
Yeah.
corner,
Well,
just
for the
filming.
record, I like a lot of Sofia Coppola's
Yeah.
films.
I just anyway,
I know how Scott you feel about
Oh,
her,
well,
Scotty,
there's three of us. Let's not waste too much time on it. Let's
yeah.
keep
Anyway,
moving
so
forward.
so
but
just
there's a lot I don't like about her as
there's
well.
a
So I'm
voyeur, there's a voy there, there's two things happening, right? There's the voyeuristic quality to the I'm in the corner observing this dynamic between all the characters in this movie.
yeah.
What he adds, though, is it's the other kind of voyeuristic photography, which is I'm going to linger really long on the sex scenes. I'm going to linger really long because Bijou Phillips showed up to one day without underwear. I'm going
Hmm.
to linger like all the things that they're not necessary. Like in his head, I'm sure he rationalizes it going, oh no, I mean like these kids are all hypersexualized. I have to show this stuff kind of the same way he did in Kids.
Right.
I would argue you could show 25 to 50% less of that stuff and this movie would still kind of work.
Well, it has a
That
plot.
that that content is there so that creepy people can get their rocks off while watching an art flick.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. There's a couple of creative or gratuitous shots where, like, there's one where a girl's talking and the camera's literally between her legs,
Mm.
Yeah,
like pointing
yeah.
upwards. It's like, all right,
That's the scene I'm referring to.
yeah, yeah, but like I said, it's less that than they used to. I think he is trying to set a mood of like this hypersexuality. These kids are like, this is weird because you're watching a bunch of kids who are like, this is a pre-cell phone. They just hang out in Florida half dressed and screw
Yeah.
each other, and that's all they do.
Yeah, and do
And,
drugs and
and do
drink.
drugs, yeah.
Sure.
So, and it's kind of a dissolute lifestyle, and
I
you
think I
kind of
mentioned the
the
other
the thing
day
is,
when
yeah,
he
it sells seats. They're always trying to sell seats in theaters,
sure.
right? And there are those, they're all really attractive, and you get to see, everything, pretty much everything. This was probably one of the porniest films we've ever shown here, and I did Valley of the Dolls. Now that actually,
Yeah, but
Stranger by the Lake.
that was pretty, okay.
that
That
was
was pretty
also
porny,
Jared's
yeah,
pick. Jared's
yeah.
super too on
All
this
right,
one.
but either
No,
way,
but
it's like,
okay, so back to anyway.
I think weirdly enough, even though it seemed gratuitous, it really actually served to build character all around in terms of like these guys and what
Um,
they do.
I mean, listen, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, it
Mhm.
exists. I think the movie would have worked also like with a little bit less
I
of that, but this is his
I
shtick.
I
Like
agree
seeing
with
Ken Park, like he goes even way
he
further
goes
back,
way further.
way
I
further.
actually agree with both of you on this point, but I'm leaning more towards Scott because I feel just like this is the kind of stuff that Larry Clark as an artist wants to make, and
Hmm?
I'm always for anybody who
Sure.
wants to make, whatever their art is, and then we can take it or leave it.
Right.
Yeah.
But like,
What I
I
think
but
is missing.
Sorry, let me
well,
just
I back up what
let me
Scott
break in.
says.
Let me
Yeah, go
break in
ahead.
just a second here. There's that film with was it Matt Dillon and Denise Richards set in Florida. It's like it's really steamy.
Wild
Wild
Things.
Wild
Things.
Things. This is like a super low budget Wild Things in a lot of ways.
Well,
It's like,
this is Wild Things with about a 50% dash of River's Edge, which
wow, yes,
almost
good.
started as soon as this movie was
Oh
over. It
yeah,
was
stir that right in, man. You're exactly
Yeah.
well,
right.
Well, I
and
want a
I think
second.
that movie hit a lot harder for me at the time because it came out in '86 when I was 21, and I think it was because I was a lot closer to the age of the people in the movie. It definitely kind of rang my bell a little bit more. Whereas, like by the time I get to see this movie, was this 2001?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm 36. Like there's some distance there.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to look at it a little bit more anthropologically. I think River's Edge as a meditation on the values or lack
Or
thereof
like
this particular generation.
Mhm.
I mean, like like we didn't even talk about Spring Breakers, which takes place in Florida as well, written
Mhm.
by Harmony Korine, which was the Larry Clark's
Larry Clark's good
a
buddy.
couple of
Mhm.
movies.
Yeah.
Like these are all these like what is it like? Florida, man. Like this is you could just do an entire like Florida Film Festival. Throw in the thing with the Rock and Marky Mark. The
Yeah, the game.
Michael Bay did like just
Yeah,
all these weirdly
Pain and Gain.
weirdly twisted versions of the American dream that happen to take place in the sweatiest state of the
It's hot and
country.
humid. You don't have to wear much clothes.
Well,
It's like there's a
And
weird
they're all
permissiveness there. At least there was.
they're all
Mhm.
kind of uncomfortable to watch in their way. This one is
Mhm.
certainly uncomfortable to watch.
Mhm.
The only thing this movie really has going for it, from a storytelling standpoint, is this all happened. I went and Googled
Yeah.
all this shit
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the movie was over. Most of the people in this movie, with the exception of the two ones that got death sentences, have all been released from prison.
Oh yeah, that makes
All
sense.
And
scattered, and they're like living their
There-
lives.
there's two things I want to say because first I want to agree with Scott like about the nudity. I know there are a few sort of maybe gratuitous shots, but there are also for some reason the extreme nudity of this picture
Uh-huh.
actually shaped the way I looked at these characters.
I can see
And
that.
I think that's sort of partly the point of it. I mean, sure, maybe people just sex sells type of thing, but I don't think this is the kind of picture. I mean, this is so sexual in a way that almost maybe would turn a lot of people off, not on. Like it's kind of
Oh,
gross.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
This isn't like Roger Corman putting boobs in movies.
no,
Making
this is
out.
like
This is a
dirty,
totally-
This
gross.
is like a sinking feeling in the
Totally
pit of your
different.
stomach watching this happen.
Right. So in that regard, like I think this is more akin to like a foreign picture in that regard a bit,
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's like he's using it as a tool to maybe help the way you feel about the characters and help the way you feel about this situation, because this is a disgusting story about depravity and just weird, like people who are easily influenced, peer pressure. This is the peer pressure to the extreme.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing was what you mentioned, Chris, about take that stuff out. Yeah, fine. But the other thing I find about this movie every time I watch it, and I hadn't watched it for a long time, but this is a good fit. Like he's a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this
you
is
never-
a really
it's
tight
compelling. It
movie.
moves along.
And the acting is phenomenal all the way through.
I agree with the performances are pretty good, with the exception of this kid who is the lead in Kids.
Uh-huh.
He is the lead kid, yeah.
And
I thought he was quite good here. No,
I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't buy it. Like I both didn't buy it, but I also like. Oh yeah, I actually kind of see that there's a guy down there.
It's like you have a bunch
some
of
kind
kids.
of mafia badass.
yeah, but he's like a wannabe. He's pretend as well.
A wannabe.
Yeah.
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 But there's a bunch of kids who are roughly the same age, and they're hard to differentiate just by looking at them.
Mhm.
But the thing is, they do a great job. Everybody is very much their own character. They're really well thought out.
Especially God, the girl.
she was really
yes,
good.
she was amazing.
She was great, and
so creepy.
this rolls up to the ending, which is, the whole thing about what are we gonna do about this bully? I know, let's feed him to the gators, basically.
Well, and then
right?
she got so like, I want this motherfucker dead tonight. Like it was she
yeah.
became
right. But
scary.
at that point, you realize that these kids are just kids, and they're doing it in the absolute stupidest way you could ever kill anybody.
think.
Oh, yeah.
Basically making
Oh,
a
yeah.
party out of it, and
yeah,
then-
yeah, yeah,
yeah, going out to like a thing like woohoo, yay, we're gonna bump.
Yeah,
up
this
the
is
head, and,
so.
And
This
then
is
the next
different.
morning, tell all their friends.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. That was just a breakdown. That's
Oh.
like, again, that was the tragic part of the whole thing. Well, that's tragic. It was just, I think that was the most realistic thing I've seen in a long time. This is what would happen.
Yeah, this whole thing
these
is so
kids aren't
realistic.
cunning. They're not clever.
Well,
They're
no.
like, we just killed the guy.
What did we watch last week that I picked?
Which was?
What did we watch last week that I picked?
Don't make me remember things. What was it?
Sexy Beast.
Sexy Beast.
Oh,
Not a
yeah.
bully.
No.
Everybody hates him and is afraid of this guy.
Uh-huh.
And what do they all decide to do? It's a lot more spontaneous
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Sexy Beast, but it's basically a lot of the same dynamic.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's kind of true.
They're all grown-ups
Everybody
who are-
on edge and terrified.
Mhm.
What's he going to do? Oh, he's
And-
picking on me today. He's picking on you yesterday.
Yeah, but they're all
Yeah.
grown-ups who are used to crimes. They kill the guy. They know exactly what to do. Put him at the bottom of the pool. These guys, when they kill him in the worst possible way.
They
and
barely put him
also
in
don't know
the
what to do with
water.
him.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
And so they all, it's like,
But make no mistake, that kid is a piece of shit.
oh yes,
The bully
terrible-
that they killed,
yeah,
he's a horrible person.
he's a terrible human being. He really is. Oh, I almost had the same scene up.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to compare him to,
That's Nick Stahl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Turned around
Terminator.
and 2 years later is the kid playing what's his name
John
from
Connor.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Terminator he's
Yeah.
in Terminator 3
So he was
playing
doing pretty
Connor.
well for a
He's a
while.
really good actor.
He is, and he's just
Yeah.
he's a creepy asshole.
Everyone's really good. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone in this was a piece of shit, let's face
Yeah.
it, to some degree.
I don't remember the character's name, but the gal with the blue streaks in her hair.
Yeah.
I
Heather.
liked her. First of all, she just kind of
Yeah.
floated into the film.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just kind of hanging out with everybody. She was kind of like, a light presence. Not exactly light, but she wasn't taking anything too seriously, even at the end.
No.
Well, that's why the whole thing
That's
is so
why she only
realistic,
got
how
like 8
kids
months.
kind of hang out with each other. And like, I
Yeah,
remember,
exactly.
I mean, we talked a little bit about it at the party, but the sad thing is these people were not my friends. Don't mistake that. But I definitely crossed paths with kids like this in my town.
You bet.
And sort of knew to stay away from them, like
Right.
immediately, but they were them, and I could sense it. I was like, this is that's why I think when I watched this movie, I said, I fucking kind of know some of I've interacted with some of those kids.
For sure.
I definitely was their age. They definitely would have hung out with me. I totally fucking walked away.
Yeah, right.
Like I just ran away from them as fast as I could because I just sensed
trouble.
that they were just the kind of kids that were gonna just end
something
up
really
doing something
stupid one
fucking
day,
really
someone's
dumb.
gonna get
Well, yeah,
hurt.
like I said at the party, I was like, I didn't know any girls like this growing up. Just the girls I knew
Oh, I did.
were kind
A
of
few.
uptight. And
I knew both. I mean, yeah.
So it's like I don't know if I knew gals like this. In Santa Cruz, you really did the beach thing. It's possible.
Totally.
If I either turned out to be like much more self assured and like, hey, or I would end up in jail. I'm not sure which, but either way, I didn't run across any of them, so I'll never know.
I'm not going to compare. I mean, I've never been to Florida, but
Don't
any small town like Red Bluff, the kids there are also very aimless a lot of the time.
Oh yeah,
and they just do drugs and drink and get into trouble because there's
yeah,
nothing else to
Red
do.
Bluff, that Santa Cruz, it's just a bunch of kids sitting around doing nothing before cell phones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we were before cell phones, so it was all.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is just obviously it is a true story. It just rang really true to me, and I think Larry Clark is actually a very good filmmaker, and for the reasons that you said, Chris, where he just kind of puts the camera and like lets you sort of witness this world.
All feels very spontaneous. These do not feel like characters reading lines most of the time.
No.
It's almost a documentary feeling, which
it's
is
not
I think
pretty. I mean,
no.
Harmony goes in 10 years later, or whatever, makes Spring Breakers, which is about almost as much immorality and just utterly depraved humans running around, but obviously wrapped in this glitz of neon light and really
wrapping. I know.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful in all the ways that this movie's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Again, they're like,
but that is almost fantasy in the way that this movie is reality.
Right.
Yes.
The whole thing of the revenge fantasy, the girls and the yellow bikinis walking out to kill the bad guy at the end.
Yeah.
It's like that's where we're not. This isn't a reality anymore.
The fantasy version of
super messy, icky. Oh man, that's horrible. That's a horrible way to go.
Like just that scene when because this is what's his name, who unfortunately died young, that tremendous actor.
No, what was his name?
Brad Renfro.
Brad Renfro.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's really good. He died way too young. Rest in peace. Incredible actor. Just that scene though, where he's sitting with his girlfriend, like watching the Eminem video and like rapping along, like that's so real. Those were like the kids I knew. Like I would do that with my friends. I mean, we would watch OMTV raps and like sing along with I just was watching that. It's it almost seems like this throwaway scene or something, but he puts it in the movie because it makes you, it's real. It feels real.
So it is. Again,
that scene behind,
that was
Chris.
Yes, that was a good scene.
Yeah.
But that was a really good scene. And that's that weird homosexual taunting.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much homoeroticism in this.
Yeah, I know it is.
And that's part of his problem.
But
it is totally part of his problem.
Yeah, it felt kind of like weird if that was a filmmaker bleeding in or not. I'm not sure.
Well, see, you can dig deeper, Chris, because probably he really is gay. That guy.
Overcompensating.
Absolutely, but he doesn't know how to.
He's lashing out.
Yes, exactly.
But that was good. And one thing about this is like you talk about like it's prurient. It's got a lot of sex scenes in it, and it's like there's a lot of it's just kind of ogling these kids and what they're figuring out what they're going to do. But the end, it becomes a moral story. Where these guys, you see how fucked up they are. So he actually saves himself, the filmmaker, Larry Clark. He just Larry Clark, right?
Yeah.
Where like he'll introduce you to these guys, and you think he's taking you like someplace like, oh, it's gonna be a big orgy at the end or something like that. But no, He's going to show you these kids are actually a bunch of idiots, and
Idiots.
they're all going to throw their lives
They
away
get
at
the
the end of
huge
the film.
comeuppance, dude.
I know, it's like it was one of the biggest
Well, it's
smashes that I
entirely
can think of.
self-inflicted.
The whole goddamn cast went to jail. You know, it's like
Well, like I said, there's something about this movie too, and every time I watch it, I don't typically, even in life, get anxious. I just
oh,
don't.
nice.
But this movie, it's the music, which I love the score at the end or
Yeah.
whatever song they're using.
Mhm.
I should look it up, but it's right around when they start like telling people that they did this thing,
Yes.
like individually, and then it ramps up, and then they come and grab them out of their houses, and then they're in the courtroom, and then it's that whole like last maybe 3 minutes that I am like, I feel so like I'm so anxious, and I have so much anxiety during that part of the film, like more so than so many movies and so many moments in my life.
But did you feel sorry for them?
I didn't feel sorry for them, but I felt like I
did.
had never seen anything. I just felt like when I watch other movies, like even Goodfellas or name any other movie where someone gets their comeuppance because they were sort of bad, and
Yeah.
I never feel like that's real. Like I'm so removed from all those because I'm like
Sure.
this is so Hollywoody movie thing. And in this I was like I mean, kind of to back up your point, I almost felt like this was, half documentary or something.
Yeah, well,
and I'm watching them get really busted now for being for taking a life, and they deserve it. I'm not saying they don't, but there's something in me where I'm like, it suddenly doesn't feel like a film to me. It feels like I'm watching like the news or something.
You're right.
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I thought the sentences were actually appropriate, saying who did what and how involved they were.
Yeah.
Like, she only got a few months, and that's like that's fine.
And there was
But
the ones that got 40 years have been out of prison for quite some time.
I'm sure they
The
paroled out
ones on
early.
death row.
It seemed like they gave them the full though. It seemed like they
Yeah.
gave them all the full.
Well, the
Because
thing
like
is,
that fat guy, I think got like 11 years, and I mean he did carry the body and
Right.
taught
Yep.
but
and the
I don't know. It
gangster
seemed
guy
like they
got,
just gave them the full, like whatever the full was, they gave him that.
all as they call it locally, all day long. He's going to be there forever.
There's a sliding scale of Larry Clark movies. So like over here, you've got Kids, Ken Park.
Yeah.
And then over on the other side, you've got the one with Melanie Griffith and Stephen.
Another Day in Paradise.
Another Day in Paradise, which is very conventional plot, like almost none of this kind of stuff. I feel like this movie sort of sits right in the middle between the two Larry Clarks. Like this is him trying to play ball a little bit. I think there was some level of at least independent studio involvement in this production.
Yeah.
Versus like way over. Like I actually think Ken Park is tougher to watch than Kids. I mean that is like full.
It's really tough. I couldn't agree
I
more.
think it was unreleased in this country as a result.
It totally was, because mine was a bootleg too. We talked about that.
This movie, I think, at the end of the day, I'm giving this movie a thumbs up because I think it kind of straddles I think it straddles the two sides of Larry Clark fairly effectively. It tells us now again, he was working with something that actually happened, so the narrative is pretty good. And knowing that it happened, walking into the movie, I think makes it resonate a little bit more. But I also think it's tight in terms of the filmmaking, and I mean, it was fun to. I mean, I hadn't seen this movie 25 years.
So this was released in 2001.
Yeah,
so it's right in the middle of that really kind of a golden age of indies like this. Drugstore Cowboy, Go, things like that.
Yeah.
Even lower budget ones. This is like you could knock a film like this
Cowboy's
out.
The 80s, bro.
Yeah, you could knock a film like this. What was 80s?
Like Drugstore Cowboy's like I think like 89 or something.
Was that
right?
set in the 80s? It was actually made later on.
No.
Okay, I would say okay. I'm confused. But there are a lot of films that come out in this area.
89.
Yeah,
but Go, you're right around there. Like all those.
Go is to 02.
Yeah, 202. The thing is that these guys could, before digital, these guys could still knock out some pretty decent little indie films, and with almost no pushback, they could just put it out there and get seen.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was a nice bit of the era, and it was really well made.
I mean, it is that the murder is real tough to get through, and I think
it's pretty brutal.
There would have been a couple of folks who were usually on these Zoom calls that may not have even made it through that murder because it's real tough to get through, but it's also messy in the way that I think a murder like that probably went. I didn't actually bother to look up the details, like
Mhm.
how much of that was like
Oh,
really
that was the
accurate.
realism of the whole thing. It's like
It's
it's not
messy
going to go.
and it looks
They're
fucking
not.
awful.
People don't die just like in movies, like you shoot
No,
dead and
it's like
fall. You
it took a
gotta take a boat oar and just then pulp them basically. And
right.
so
Yeah.
and that's what they basically had to
I think a
do.
lot of folks
Huh?
tap out probably. Folks in the Criterion channel right now are probably tapping out on that scene as we speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and
Probably.
that's funny because that's the only reason I chose this is because it was available on Criterion. Like
Yeah.
I have the DVD because I couldn't agree more with you, Chris, in terms of Larry Clark's catalog. I everything you said, I agree with. I've always felt, I'm a little younger than you guys. Like when I saw Kids, I was 18, but it was weird. Like I was old enough to like be so affected by it, like kind of hate it, but in the right way. Do you know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
scary to me. It was disgusting to me. It was I
Cautionary tale, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
a cautionary tale. In fact, yeah, because I was very young. I was just out of high school, and I even turned to my friend and said, this should be required viewing for like every like teacher and
Well, they
every
should do like
parent.
if you
Every parent.
after you do your drug or your like sex education block, they should show you this film in high school.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and then
Right.
and then like you, Chris, I was like, I mean, I was curious of this filmmaker, but I was like, I don't ever want to see that again, and I never have. But
Mhm.
then when this came out, I took a look at it, and I was. I was a little older, obviously. So I
Sure.
think in 2001, I was now probably 20 something, early 20s. But I just loved this immediately. There was something about it that was because I think you're exactly right. He has extremes, and like on one end is Kids, and on another end is Another Day in Paradise, and this is somewhere more in the middle. Somewhere it's a little more palatable, but it's still got his signature on it.
Yeah.
But it's
Still makes me super uncomfortable.
it's
Well,
still it's still rough, but
it
it's
worked.
got an artistry to it, and
It
it's
never
got a
it worked.
voice.
It worked. It just like it was a great narrative. You just watch it beginning to end, you get more and more absorbed to it. And the ending is like this, I remember a couple times just gasping because it's just so damn realistic.
Well, the thing is,
There's every
like,
single wart basically these kids' lives is up there,
even if
Yeah.
I can sit there as a third party watching it objectively going, well, here's how I would have dealt with this bully. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what I think. What I believe is that his presence is extremely threatening to them. They
Right.
feel it. They're taking it home with them every night. Like this
Oh
is a
yeah.
fucking guy that they got to deal with on a daily basis.
Mhm.
They hate him, but they can't get rid of him. And I
And
believe
he
that the movie made me believe that in a very real way.
and he did absolutely rape that girl.
No,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then just sort of that was also what was so just like the way she didn't really do anything about it.
Just let it
And
kind of
then
slide.
they were on the phone again. I was just like, what the
Well, no,
fuck is
but
going
that's
on
where that
here?
rolls back, and again, just to repeat ourselves, the idea of these kids representing all the girls and guys as being hypersexualized.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah, he raped her, but rape is something that might happen once in a while. You know what I
Oh
mean?
God, yeah.
No,
It's so terrifying.
that's
Like,
the thing. That's the thing that's
That
kind of
part out.
implied in that. You know,
oh
yeah. So that's the thing. It's like that was actually a shot across the bow in this film too. It was like
Yeah.
that was the line, and then they, you actually end up crossing it. They should have actually had intervention for the guy, sat him down in
Well,
the circle and talked to
Well,
him.
there's so many
I-
ways you could have dealt with it. I don't know that
Well, he was-
it would have worked. But
I always felt the homoeroticism, but this was the first, or I've probably seen this movie maybe like 5 or 6 times,
Wow.
but now I'm really like, it's obvious that I forget the bully's name. Oh God,
Well, Nick Stahl.
Nick Stahl,
Mhm.
that he's a completely closeted homosexual, lashing
Right.
out in every single way.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it
why
even
he's so-
starts.
that's why he's so attached to the other guy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
remember when they first are at that stupid like dance place where
Uh-huh.
he's into it.
he's
Yeah.
so into it,
I
and
know.
it's
I'm into it because my buddy's up there. I'm like, no, dude, you're into it.
no, you're into it
I'm
because Marty is Brad Renfro. He doesn't even want to be there.
Right.
Like
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like, I
they
don't.
they had blackmail to go off the stage, right? That
Yeah.
was actually really good, but it's another story entirely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts?
No, I just, yeah, I think I mean,
Well, I didn't plan on picking this, but because it came on Criterion, I thought it's going to be gone. You're not
Yeah,
going to have
no,
it
dude,
streaming.
no,
So
it was remarkable.
Good.
I was
Solid.
very entertained. It was bleak, but it's okay, and bleak in
Yeah.
a good way.